Hello ladies, welcome to our 9:30 Zoom workout at Fit Club for Women in Corte Madera. It's the apocalypse outside, but we are inside working out. Nonetheless, it is one of the only things that is helping us stay sane.
The next workout will begin in 60 seconds.
We're going to get started in 60 seconds. Before we do, I just want to thank all of you very much for being here. Dave told me that there's like 15 people on the call, which is amazing. And I'm really glad that you're all here working out with me. And I really wish that I could snark with you a little bit like usual, but it's not to be today. I'm going to get you started a little bit early because I'm impatient and silence makes me bored and nervous. So we're going to start with a little side-to-side tap. Dave's doing the workout, the warm-up with me so I don't feel weird. This is my first time doing a Zoom call, so you may notice I'm checking my phone here and there. That is not because I'm texting about you guys. It's because I am checking for the next exercise. Just a quick reminder, of course, to always make sure that you are taking care of your bodies. I will be providing modifications, and here's step one. Let's bring those arms overhead. I'll be providing modifications as we go. Good. I assume you're doing good. I can't see you. You're going to keep that core nice and tight. Bring that arm overhead. You may feel a little stretch down your obliques. And let's get that breath going. Get that blood pumping, get that muscle movement going, and get our core temperature up. Because as we know, muscles are like taffy. They move and stretch a lot easier when they are warm. We're going to go ahead and switch, bringing the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're just going to sway our weight from right to left, right to left. You'll notice I'm bringing my whole body weight over. And then we're going to keep that. Switch, switch, switch. Now, this is low impact. If you can see my feet, I'm not actually leaving the ground at any point. I'm just switching my weight. However, if you feel like you could go slightly higher impact, you want this to feel a little bit harder, we're going to pick it up. This is called a boxer shuffle. We go right, left, right, left. Now you notice my landings are still very quiet. They're still very soft. Good. And this by itself.
Exercise.
Beautiful. Now, we're going to bring the arms down. We have an invisible jump rope. We're going to bring it around. That is getting my heart rate up. Hopefully it's doing the same for you too.
Begin set 3.
Beautiful. Oh, Dave tells me we have 26 people on the Zoom call. I love it. Now, if you feel like you could do a little bit more, go ahead and bring those knees up. So it's like you're jumping rope, except it's a lot easier because we don't actually have one. Good. And if you need to, if you want to do a knee thing but keep it a little more low impact, this is just fine. Good. Get that breath going.
Stop. Exercise.
Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and switch this to a hamstring curl, keeping the jump rope thing going. Good. Beautiful. So you can see, slightly leaning forward, belly button is in nice and tight. And if you want to take this higher impact,
step 4.
you can add just the tiniest little hop. Now this is step 4. At the end of step 4, we're going to go right into some wall sits. So just scout out your space, look around, and see if there's a place against the wall that you can do your wall sit with a floor that isn't too slippery. Bare feet are fine for wall sits. Shoes are fine for wall sits. I don't recommend socks. Beautiful.
Stop exercise and
Switch to the next station. Back against the wall. Whew, I'm gonna get my breath back. You're gonna walk your feet out. Make sure that your knees and toes are aligned. We don't want the knees falling in, and that the weight is in the heels. And we're just gonna chill here.
begin set 1.
Beautiful. Now, a couple of really important things. Number 1, make sure your feet are far enough away from the wall. What we don't want is this with the knees kind of poking way out past the ankles. and nice and stacked. We want the weight in the heels. Good. Alignment here. Beautiful. And think about your depth. Now, if you're going a little deep and your knees don't like it, that is totally fine. Try coming up a little shallower.
Stop exercise.
Take a quick break. Now, if that felt easy for you, we're gonna go a little deeper on the next one. We're doing almost, yes, entirely body weight today, no added weights at all, but we do wanna make sure we challenge ourselves nonetheless. So now we go again.
Set 2.
And sink. Oh, lower this time. Beautiful. Now if this is starting to burn right here, that is what we want. But you can provide yourself a little distraction. You bring your hands up. Give me very slow little jabs. Keeping your core real tight. Good. Now for sets 3 and 4, we're gonna move into something a little bit more advanced. Ooh, that's awkward. If that was hard enough for you, stick with that. However, if you want something a little more challenging and your knees feel good today, follow my instructions. Feet all the way together.
Begin set 3.
Not quite as low this time. Hands close to the body. Keeping the weight in the heels, you're gonna pick one knee up off the floor and then slowly set it back down. And then the other. If you're trying this and your knees don't like it, don't do it. Come down into that traditional wall sit, that is just fine. If you're doing this, feels kind of easy, come down a little further.
Stop.
Beautiful.
Exercise.
And there's the break. If you don't need a break, don't take one. Keep going. Keep your core nice and tight here. If you're switching your weight from foot to foot, you may notice there's a little bit of shift
Begin
in the
set
hips,
4.
which is fine, it's expected. Try to make it as small as possible. Because what we don't want is for your butt to be going back and forth. It gets weird in the lower back. So this is set 4. Let's see what's next. Oh, planks. I get them out of the way early because I'm a compassionate person. Evie. Good, belly button in. Bring that leg up if you can. Drop it slowly.
Stop.
Nearly there.
And
Ooh.
switch to the next station.
Come away from the wall carefully. All right, now planks can be on the floor. They can be on a bench or a chair if you need a little bit of a modification. But I'm going to start out on the floor. I'm also going to start with my feet just off of the mat. And tuck that tailbone. That'll need you. I want you to think about lacing your hips and your rib cage together. So if you feel your lower back bowing like this, tuck that tailbone, flatten out the lower back, pull the belly button up to the ceiling, and breathe. Squeeze your glutes hard.
Stop. Exercise.
And go into child's pose for me. Oh, did you hear my elbows crack? Oh, lovely. I'm leaving little sweat stains on the mat. So attractive. All right. Set 2, we're still focusing on the form.
Set 2.
Making sure that those abs are pinched together. Let's get it started. Now, most planks will have people do a nice straight knee, driving the heels to the back wall. However, if you want to feel a little bit more in your lower abs, and if your lower back is okay, try softening your knees just a touch. It's really important that you keep that back flat though. What we don't want is this. So as you soften your knees, that tailbone better stay tucked. And there's the break. Drop the knees first, not the hips, please. And either come up or go into child's pose. Beautiful. Sets 3 and 4, we're going to add a tap to this. Ooh, it's hot. sweating.
Begin set 3.
So tap with the feet. So hopefully you can see my feet here. Upper body stays really stable. Lower body, you're gonna tap one foot out to the side and then bring it back. Side and back. Now we do wanna make sure that we're not pushing through the shoulder blades too far. We don't want that sort of hunch of the upper back. So think about squeezing your shoulder blades ever so slightly together. Just the tiniest little bit.
Stop exercise.
There's the break. Fabulous. All right, so we're approaching set 4. And at the end of set 4, we're gonna move into Supermen. Supermen. So if you need a reminder of this, you'll get one in just a sec.
Begin set 4.
Beautiful. Tuck that tailbone, squeeze that booty, tap. Now we do want to make sure that our hips stay as even as humanly possible here. We don't want little hippies to the side. Shoulders should be burning, abs should be burning, glutes, re-squeeze. Every time the feet come back to center. Whew. Tuck, tuck, tuck.
Stop exercise.
And there's the
Switch
break.
to the next station.
Fabulous. Onto your belly on the mat. Now for this next one, watch the lower back. It is very important that you squeeze your glutes as we do this. Hands are at a 90-degree angle out to the side. You're going to pull your belly button in, squeeze your butt, and lift your chest and your toes up off the floor. You're going to hold for 4, 3, 2, and drop. Then pick it back up. Squeeze your glutes hard. Hold. 4, 3, 2, and drop. Squeeze. Pick it up. Hold. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. 3, 2, and drop. Very nice. Now what we're getting here
Stop exercise.
is the muscles, and this is the break. Go ahead and relax. Very gently rock your booty from side to side, release any tension of the lower back. We're getting all the muscles that run up and down the spine. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together, working the upper back without any weights, just our body weight.
Begin set 2.
Good, pull the belly button in first, squeeze your butt next, and pick it all up, you're like a seal. Good. Now if you want it to be just a little bit more challenging, you're gonna bring your arms forward slightly. Even more challenging is to bring them all the way out. I'm gonna find a little happy medium here. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs, squeeze your shoulder blades, and lift. 3, 2, and drop. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs, squeeze your shoulder blades, and lift.
Exercise.
3, 2, and drop. That is the break. Very, very nice. Again, I assume I can't see anybody. Good. Now, you'll notice we're dropping, we're taking little breaks.
Begin set 3.
If you don't need your breaks, don't take them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hold it the entire time. This is an option. Check in with your shoulder blades over and over again. Make sure that they're squeezed. Make sure your shoulders are down, away from your ears. If you want to add a tiny bit more, you're gonna reach your arms overhead, grab an invisible bar, and pull it towards you and squeeze. Again, none of these progressions are necessary. Just a suggestion.
Stop exercise.
Ooh, if you really want to hit that upper back, then here's your break. I'm doing my very best to verbally cue you all the way through, just because I know sometimes when you get down on the floor, you can't see your computer.
Begin set 4.
And here's set 4. Squeeze that booty, squeeze those abs, squeeze those shoulder blades. Take breaks or not. Do extra squeezes or not. Very, very nice. This is set 4, and at the end of this set, I'm gonna have you turn over onto your backs. Moving right along. Squeeze hard. Belly button is into the spine. Booty is squeezed, chest is high up off the mat, as are your feet. Maybe even your thighs a little bit.
Exercise and
Switch to the next station. Beautiful. So, I'm going to turn over with care and slowly and gracefully, or not at all. Feet fairly close to the hips, toes are pointing straight forward. And let's bring those feet all the way together.
Set 1.
You're gonna squeeze your butt and pick that booty up. This is a bridge. Y'all know this one fairly well. If your back feels a little tender today, don't come up quite so high. You can drop your hips down toward the floor just slightly, but make sure that your glutes are always pinched together. Belly button is tightly pulled into the spine. And drive those heels into the floor. We're just holding, just isometric. Meaning we're holding a pose and a muscle contraction.
Stop exercise.
And very slowly, very gently drop your hips. And you can sway your knees gently from right to left, only an inch at a time. Release any tension in the lower back. All right, set 2, we add a progression. Optional. If you don't want to do it, it's totally fine. But you are going to at least pick your booty up. Then you're going to pick your right foot up off the floor. Keep that knee bent and you're going to hold it for just a moment. Slowly drop that right foot back down to the floor and switch it on over to the left into a march. We are now marching our knees, meaning the weight of the work is going to switch from the left hamstring here, as you pick the right foot up, to the right hamstring, as you pick the left up. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and drop the hips very gently, take a small break. Now, you can do what we did in set 1, you can do what we did in set 2 with the marches, or
begin
you can add 3, what we're doing here in set 3. Hips up. Right leg up, just the right leg this time. You're going to keep the knee bent, pull it towards you, and then you're going to extend it all the way forward so you get a nice straight leg. Hold that for a second, and then pull that knee in. So, we are all on the left hamstring now. You should feel the amount of work change as that leg moves through space. When the leg gets farther away from the body, you should feel it more. Very nice, and that is our break. Put the foot down, put your hips down, take a break. Excellent, we'll do the same on the other side. We are approaching set 4.
Begin set 4.
Beautiful, hips up, left leg up, belly button in, pull that knee in close, and full extension. Beautiful. Drive that right heel hard down into the floor. You should really feel a lot of work in the back of that right thigh. Now this is set 4. At the end of this set, we're going to move on. I believe you're going to turn over one more time. Come to your hands and knees.
Stop exercise
and there's the
switch
break.
to the next station.
Drop your hips. Turn yourself over mindfully onto your side before you come to your hands and knees. Was I correct? Yes. Okay. Now this next one, we're going to do a tricep push-up. This is a narrow push-up. If you have sensitive shoulders, find a chair or a wall. But here's what this is going to look like. Hands are fairly close together. You're going to walk your knees back and then drop your hips so that you're in a straight line from your knees to the top of your head. Elbows stay very close to the rib cage. You're going to drop yourself down and then come all the way up. Feel free to make adjustments as you go. Good. We're going to do our very best to keep the shoulders down away from the ears as much as humanly possible. Belly button is in nice and tight, and there's the break. The glutes stay squeezed. Now, as much as you can, you're going to try to come down and come up at the same rate, so no cobra-ing. I will, however, demonstrate this on a bench for people who might need the modification.
Begin set 2.
Full plank position for those folks. You're going to come down and come up. Very nice. Belly button is in. Skull is in line with the rest of the body. Now for some people, there might be a wrist issue, like I kind of have them. I like to do what's called monkey paws. You'll notice I'm up on the strongest part of my knuckle here. And that allows me to keep my wrists straight.
Stop, exercise.
Beautiful. Now if you're against a wall, just gotta sort of mind it, those elbows end up kind of going straight down toward the floor. That will take a lot of pressure off those shoulders. It will be easier. I'm gonna come back down to the mat. This one's my favorite.
Begin set 3.
Rotate the elbows, shoulders are down, tailbone is tucked. We come down, we come up. All in one piece, which I find kind of hard sometimes. So squeeze that butt, solid as a rock. Good. Oof. These have always been hard for me and continue to be hard for me.
Stop, exercise.
Woo. Beautiful. All right, we are approaching set 4. At the end of set 4, we are actually going to stay in our hands and knees position. For those people who got
Begin
up
set 4.
to find a bench or a chair or a wall, you will come back down to the mat. Everyone will come join me on the mat at the end of set 4. And we can start set 4 right now. Whew. It's really hard to not shrug your shoulders here. Do your very best. If that means that your range of motion is really small, if it looks like this, that is totally fine. This is still lots and lots of work, especially if you pick up the
Stop,
pace.
exercise, and switch
Switch to the next station. Beautiful. So we're going to come to our hands and knees. We're going to go into another booty exercise, the donkey kick. Now for people who have wrist issues, you are welcome to come down to your elbows. So you can either be here or here. This is going to be a little bit harder. Knees are together. You're going to bring your right knee up with the foot flexed and the knee at 90 degrees and pulse from that booty. Couple of things to keep in mind here. Number 1, we do not want to get the height from the lower back. None of this. You want to keep that lower back flat and pulse from the butt. Very small pulses, but very steady. Pulse, pulse, pulse. We want to get a lot of reps in here. If you are down,
exercise.
there's the break. If you are down on your elbows, you will need to pick the foot up higher than I was doing in order to get a proper amount of work. But we're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. There are those monkey paws.
Set 2.
Foot flexed, knee at 90 degrees, pulse, pulse, pulse. You want to keep your hips really even. You'll just notice that I brought my hands out slightly wider. For me, that gives me a wider base of support and just really make sure that I'm not tilting my hips or my body. And 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes I have to remember, tell myself to pick up the pace. The more reps, the more this is going to burn.
Exercise.
Good. Take that break. Beautiful. And we want that burn because we are not adding any extra weight to this. It's just the weight of our bodies. So let's make it I was going to say on fire.
Begin set 3.
Unfortunate turn of phrase right now. Pulsing, pulsing. Very nice. Now, for those of you who'd like to try, you are welcome to extend that leg all the way, but you do want to make sure to keep that knee really straight, because we're not doing this. We're pulsing specifically from the booty, really trying to access this glute muscle right here, and isolate it as much as possible. And pulse and pulse, pulse and
Stop,
pulse.
exercise.
Good. We have one more set here. And at the end of this set, we're going to turn over onto our backs one more time. My goodness, I'm going so easy on you guys today.
Begin set 4.
Everything's on the floor. Good, either a bent knee or a straight leg, belly button in. Now I actually kind of don't mind if I did go easy on you today, because here's the thing. It smells real bad out there. It can be kind of hard to breathe. So slower is fine. Taking your time.
Stop exercise and switch to the next
And we're going to go ahead and
station.
switch over onto our back. Making sure that you are doing the kind of exercise that is right for your situation. So if you have an air purifier, nice air conditioner, everything feels good, it feels good to breathe, push yourself a little bit harder. If that's not the case, take it slow.
Begin set 1.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin. Hands behind your head, but just resting there for the moment. Legs are at 90 degrees. Now here's the thing about 90 degrees, it's really easy for the lower back to just pop up like this. We want to make sure that the abs are squeezed in together like an accordion and then down to the floor. We're just going to hold this for set 1. Beautiful. That tailbone is tucked underneath you, back is nice and flat, pressed into the mat.
Stop exercise.
Gorgeous, there's a break. Take it if you need it. I'm going to keep going because I just want to show you. If your back feels tender, try pulling your knees in a little bit more. You're going to notice it's much easier to keep your lower back down. If you want more of a challenge, push those knees out.
Begin set 2.
And here we go to set 2. We're going to add a little bit of a movement here. And all it is just a very small leg switch. Imagine like you're doing like the lower half of a bicycle crunch, but just the teeniest, tiniest, most controlled version of it ever. Now again, that small range of motion can be close to the body like this. It's going to be easier, or it can be farther away from the body like this. That's going to be harder, but more of a challenge for the lower back. So just do what is right for you, but either way,
exercise.
the range of motion is small. Good, let's take a real break here. Go ahead and pull those knees in, stretch out the lower back. We're going to change it up for sets 3 and 4. Because, as I mentioned, Nicole gets bored easy. Hands behind the head.
Begin set
Legs at
3.
90 degrees. This time you're only going to move one leg at a time. The right toe is going to come all the way down and tap on the floor, and then all the way back up to its original position before the other foot goes. Now you'll notice something kind of important here. My knee is an extremely stable position. I am moving from the hip, not from the knee. So this is all moving
Stop
as
exercise.
one unit. And you can see my abs shaking a little bit. That extension from the hip, from the thigh, that's what's going to challenge the lower abs a little bit more. Going blind. All right, last set
Begin
of
set
this.
4.
Pull that belly button in, make sure your back is in a good position first. Now finally, only one more progression here. If you want to, go ahead and pick those shoulders up off the mat, engaging the upper abdominals as well, and you're just going to hold it. While you move from the hip, you just come down, give it a little tap, and then up, belly button in, down, and then tap, and then up, belly button in,
Stop
down.
exercise. Your
Your training is now complete.